Welcome to Cannabis School. I'm your host, Jesse Angeles.
And I'm Brandon Elder.
And we're here to talk to you about everything pertaining to cannabis, from vape,
flower,
edibles,
strains,
and everything in between.
To bring you fun strain.
I have a question.
What?
Since we're on the road and we're probably in their ears, does this count as...
So we're taking Mango OG today. No, I've been actually really excited about this one to review. We're having this in a distillate.
With cannabis-derived terps?
Yeah, so it's not 100% hot dog water. It's just slight. So this Mango OG is an indica-dominant hybrid. And what's nice about this one, though, this isn't a couch log hybrid. It's a very just relaxing, but also really good for like pain relief. My wife recently had been picking up a couple extra shifts here and there.
Yeah.
And her back was just hurting on Friday night. And she had an edible and it still didn't really touch her. So I said, hey, why don't you try some of this? And she's like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So it's a good, I mean, for her, because a lot of times people talk about it, it's relaxing, euphoric, happy, uplifting, and it's slightly sedating. It could be if you took a lot.
Like higher doses or something. Or...
Well, I think in a flower form, it'd be way more potent.
Yeah, or even like a dab. If you had a good sized dab, you know.
Well, and it's really good. It's got a sweet notes in there.
Very slight sweetness, but it's distillate, so it's not the same as you get with flour or a really nice concentrate.
So it's a mix of Mango Haze and OG Kush.
I love OG Kush. That's a really
I have
nice
never
strain.
had Mango Haze. OG Kush is always a good. I wonder what the terp breakdown is. Hold on.
It's not too overwhelming though. I think as a strain, it could be a really good daytime strain, especially if you do have pain. Yeah, like my dad has surgery today.
Yeah.
So, but he's been wanting to do a lot more on his apartment, remodeling more, getting a lot more accomplished. And so yesterday we just did a lot more work because he was like, well, I'm going to be in surgery, so I want to get all that I can accomplished right now. And of course, that meant that I had way more time than I spent yesterday. So I felt really sore all night. I don't think I really slept last night. And I've been sore, so I'm excited.
Yeah, this is good. Well, I mean, the terp breakdown, it's the number one is Myrcene, Caryophyllene, Limonene, and humulene. So that humulene is nice because that's the perkiness that you want in a sativa perk one, right? This one, there's nothing in the chest that I'm feeling, but it kind of just sits over the top of my eyes a little bit, but it makes me feel great. Like, I really like this. Good for pain relief. I just did squats last night and deadlifts, and so my legs are
sore.
They're sore, but I feel good right now. I feel like this is just right.
Yeah,
It's just right.
it's a very pleasant strain. I think it's even okay if you're newer to cannabis. I don't think that it's
No,
as far as
it's mildly sedative too, and typically, like, I recommend for people, like, they're like, man, I really want to get into cannabis, and I'm like, go with the hybrid indica-leaning at first, because the sativas, it just acts differently with everybody.
Yeah.
But typically going into it new, and especially later at night, because it's good. You don't have anywhere to go. You don't have anybody really to talk to. So it's good to be able to utilize it at night. This is a great one to be able to utilize at almost any time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's daytime for us right now.
But it's not overwhelming as far as, like, I feel sedative or like I couldn't get work accomplished or anything like that. I feel like
Quite a bit of cotton mouth.
that
for
could
me.
be, yeah,
My lips.
I do.
You
have
know those
pretty dry
straight?
lips.
Yeah, like, I get, that's the weird one. Like, some of them will make your lips dry. Like, my mouth isn't really cotton mouthy, but my lips are dry.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird?
It is very weird.
Like, it's getting drier as we're talking. Probably because I'm thinking about it more.
Yes. Well, that's what your focus is on. It's like when you focus on it, you're just like, oh, hey, my heart is racing, and you can feel it.
Right.
And then all you think about is, oh, my heart's racing. And then you start freaking out because my heart's racing. And then it keeps racing, you know? It's like, okay. But you know, anything you think about. That's what I do love with cannabis, though, is you can almost hyper fixate on any part if you really wanted to. Like, I could feel a heartbeat in my finger if I wanted to sit and focus and think about it, or my toe, or, you know, you could really hone in on almost anything within your body, I think, if you were to truly focus that way.
Well, and the cool thing too, like, we're having it in a distillate, which the feeling is pretty good. But I was thinking, like, you know what would be great is I'm thinking about this strain in an edible. Now, we did our brownie episode, which I really wish I would have picked up a Betty Crocker keto brownie mix. I found one. It's like a chewy one,
And way
like,
less sugar.
way less sugar, and it's like a chewy brown. I like the chewy brownie.
I do too.
The
I
cake
like
one
chewy
that
brownies.
we made.
It was good.
Oh,
My son, I didn't think she was getting old. Because the blinker was on and she got into that one. Yeah, it's off again.
Where was that?
Chewy brownies.
Yeah, chewy brownies in there. These ones look good. I haven't made them yet. I'm going to make them. But one of the things that I really enjoyed about that is that the feeling on it, because what was the strain we had?
We did delicate grapes. In
Yeah.
there.
So Delicata Grapes does not feel that way when I smoke it.
No, it's different.
But it was so different. And what I like about this one is that it's so mild, like on the physical effects.
Okay. Yeah,
As you know, like, I mean, I feel it slightly here on my face
I felt the back.
and on my cheekbones, but I like the feeling that I'm getting, that it's not too intense. But I would think that in an edible, especially for pain management, this would be great. I would love a potent 25 to 30 milligram brownie square. Would be great for me.
Oh yeah.
Brandon, you would, I mean, like 100 milligram brownie square, 2 of them.
200. I would just prefer to have like one 300 milligram brownie square.
Some giant.
No, like a normal size brownie, just 300 milligrams. That's it. You know, because that's the problem. Is usually for mine, they don't make it in the dose, so then I have to eat. Like when I take edibles, I'm taking 5 gummies at a time, and I'm like, this feels like a lot of sugar for me to be taking and ingesting all at once.
Yeah.
When normally I would love to just have 1 gummy, but I can't get that because no one doses. Usually Brandon dose gummies, so I have to just make do and use, you know,
Use what you got.
5 or 6 of 50 milligram gummies and just pop them all at once.
Wow.
Well, like the other day when I popped 7 of them all at once, it's fine.
Oh.
It's like 7. It's not a big deal.
I had, I think in a short period of time, I think about a couple hours. Like last night, I played some Ghost. Now, all I was doing was just unlocking the map.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, because our game got, see, we've gone back to playing Ghost Recon. This is our 5th go.
Do you think that's it?
It's our 5th go. Like,
Oh.
actually wanting to play it.
That could be.
And it's been awesome. Like, I like playing it alone, and I like playing it with you. Like, it's
Great all around.
oh, dude, I had like half of a 50, and then I had like 3/4
That's hilarious.
of another one about like an hour and a half later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it was nice. See, right now, okay, so now it's settling in. And again, it's still like lightly on my eyes, but I can feel it a lot stronger. And the cool part is that where I have pain, I can feel it like my collarbone. There's a storm coming in soon.
Yep.
And I have a broken left collarbone from when I was 18 years old. And that hurts every time.
It gets cold.
Yeah, it feels like somebody jammed an ice pick in my fucking... Oh, dude, it hurts so damn bad. But this is actually keeping it at bay. Brownies. So this would be really good in an edible. I think this would be great in an edible.
I would
Especially
love
like,
that. Yeah.
like, you know, we were talking with our friend Nerith for a little bit, and caramels, saltwater taffy. You guys had saltwater taffy infused?
I haven't, but when he was talking about it, I was thinking that we should pull some taffy or infuse some taffy.
Well, the thing I'm wondering, because it's hot.
Oh, pulling?
Hot.
Yeah,
it's
it
really
is.
hot. That's gonna fuck up the cannabinoids.
Oh.
So that's gonna change it.
Well, I wonder, and this is what I wondered, is if you could put in infused sugar at a certain stage into it and just pull it as it's cooling. Because you wouldn't put it in the whole time, but you just put it in at a certain stage, hopefully. But I think I would have to look at the temperatures that it kind of plays in.
I wonder if there's maybe we could look them out. I'm not gonna do it now, but that would be really cool to be able to see the saltwater tech. What's been like your guys' favorite candies that you guys had in edibles? Either a homemade or store-bought. Like, talking about store-bought edibles, like, I would love to start seeing more craft edibles, but that's
My
hard.
favorite was, I don't know the brand, but every time I would drive out to Denver and back, it was in, I want to say Silver Plume. It's in the canyons past Vail and that's out in Colorado. And it's the Green Solution Dispensary, and it's one of their, I want to say it's their, like, clearance one or their outlet one or something in that area. But they have these little 10 milligram edibles, and they're truffles in a little single container, like plastic tube for each one, and there's one truffle in that tube. And that one 10 milligram edible or whatever, I'd pay, $4 or $5 for that one, but it was the most delicious. Like, I had a key lime pie truffle one.
Oh, dude,
it was amazing.
That's crazy.
So delicious. And those have been some of the best, or probably the best edibles, at least as far as flavor goes, that I have ever had. It's kind of hard
to match that. It's like those Eddies that we got right now. Like, I love the flavors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the flavors are good.
But it's very
mild in comparison to the sugar highs.
Yes.
To the other ones, yeah.
But it's good. They're good. They're really good. You can take more of it. It's just not as potent. And I kind of get that, because aren't the sugar high ones, like, are those live rosin or resin?
No, they're just nano infused, so they're supposed to kick in faster.
Yeah, that's why. But these ones kick in about almost the same. Like, they're not really bad, but
they just don't hit the same.
No, they don't.
That's
They're
all.
very mild. Yeah, it's not like the sugar highs. It's like when it hits, it's a thump for me, and I go, oh.
Yeah, I actually felt it, because it was like, oh, hey, my eyes feel drier. Like, I definitely feel this more,
Yeah.
And that's when I know. And these ones, it was like, well, my mouth feels dry, so I think it's kicked in. I think that might be. But the problem with me as well, and maybe this is the same problem a lot of you have, is if I do edibles every day, by the time I'm 4 or 5 days in, I don't have a high at all. It literally is just managing a certain level of pain. By day 4 or 5, it's no longer, I can eat 250, 300 milligrams, and I don't feel like I'm elevated, like I'm anything at all,
For me, I just feel I'm happier. I'm a little slower. But Eddies always give me kind of that sleepier. Like, Eddies are always a little sleepier than anything else.
Okay, yeah.
For me, at least. I know other people, they're just like, oh no, I go all day on them. But I'm like you, man. Like, you've got to have a variety of different types of
products, strains,
yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, you got to have a variety, because just having one thing, like,
oh, it's so much worse. So I've been doing, wow, I had quite the whistle on that S there. But so I haven't been using flour a lot lately. I've been doing a lot more concentrates and pens and edibles. And so I used flour yesterday after helping my dad, because, oh my God, I hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And so I was using flour, and I did a couple bowls in the vaporizer, and it hit me. Not where I was like, oh, I'm high, but I was like, oh, this is working. And it was effective in a couple bowls. And that's, like you said, when I have that option or something to switch it up and go, hey, I'm going to use this strain or this method of consumption or that, having that variety really seems to help.
Yeah, it really does. It's like what's that laser vaporizer? What's that one called?
Hitaki.
The Hitaki. Really want to try that one.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. There's a podcast, Weed Between the Wines. He's big into like weed and wine. And
that's cool.
Yeah, he had me on his show years ago, but I guess his socials and that have been going down. But because a lot of cannabis influencers, their socials are getting banned or removed because, well, being a cannabis social media influencer is really hard, and you have to navigate that space really carefully, otherwise you lose your account.
Yeah.
But he's got that. He's got, I think, multiple devices from them of that, and he said he actually really likes that device.
Man, I want to try that one. Because it's just like, vaporizers are kind of my thing right now. Like, I still love flame to flower, but lately,
I've been vaping.
Yeah, I've been vaporizing my flower.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it a little bit more. One, because I don't have a lingering cough. I noticed, like, I was doing my bong for a few days, and I had this lingering cough. So I'm just like, I gotta...
Well, it's also winter, and I know the bowl we live in, the haze, the inversion, the air quality in the winter is so much worse that I notice it every time it's winter.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that when I do flame to flower, especially in the winter when it's like this, I do cough more. I do have way more harshness in my throat. And so I think for winter times, it's probably better for me anyway. I mean, in general,
Well,
you're not getting carcinogens, you're not flame to flower, you're not burning something. So,
well, that's why, like, I've been really, like, advising people. They go, like, what should I start with? I'm like, honestly, you should start with dabs. You can go really low dose.
Yeah.
You don't have to use a lot. You can actually dose a lot more accurately than you could ever with a pen or an edible.
Yeah.
So I've been like, dude, do that one. Invest into a good dab rig and get, like, decent dab tools. Have someone show you.
Yeah.
You need to do a video on it.
We'll do a
whole episode of how to use these things, like how to use your tools.
Yeah.
Tell you what they are, what they mean, how they're able to
Well, and the
operate,
benefits of using different devices, or why you might,
and why you would avoid certain ones.
Because there's a big difference.
It's like, if you talk about, like, vaporizers, like, I love Storz Pickle. Like, they're great.
Yep.
I mean, the battery on the Crafty, the Mighty.
The Mighty.
Yeah, that's...
the Crafty's the tiny one.
Yeah.
He's the one that dies
the Mighty
crazy.
Plus. Yeah, this one's starting to die. Like, the battery's having a harder time.
It should get 6, 7, 8 sessions. Is that about what it gets? Something?
Yeah, but it's weird. It's like been charging slower.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you use it enough.
That's probably true. It's a battery.
It is a battery. That's why I really like the Air Vapes one. Like, just get a new battery.
Yeah.
Same device.
It's true.
But I've been using my vaporizer, but I also like using dab rigs, and my atomizer burned out, and I had another one. That one's burned out. So I'm like, fuck. And dude, there's another thing about dabs. Like, people are like, oh, dab rig's too aggressive looking or whatever.
Yeah.
But it really is by far a way better experience to try out. And then that's an easier transition to go to vaporizing your flower to be able to get a very well-rounded experience. I feel that flower just gives you the best well-rounded experience.
It does. Well, and the problem is because a lot of the pens that you get aren't really cannabis-derived terps. They're not a live process, so they're not flash frozen from the immediate, like, initial. So you don't get the best experience. But if you get into concentrates outside of pens, so when you dab, you get all of that back. You get so much more of the terpenes, the cannabinoids, all the other experience that you're lacking in the pen. And then you get the temperature control and temperature ranges that you don't get in a pen either most of the time. So, it becomes this whole new experience because you're like, whoa, I'm experiencing terpenes on a whole new level. I'm experiencing cannabinoids on a whole new level, which of course makes your entire experience a whole different experience.
Well, and you have to use less. Less is more.
Yeah.
And it's, sometimes it's like, even when I look at the temperature ranges compared from dab to flower, like flower, I can be much lower to be able to get the experience I want with my wax, depending on what I'm using it with. Like, I have the Phantom. Like, I love that. The honey stick. That thing is great. Out of all the portable ones, that one gives me the best flavor, but I have to burn it at a higher temp, depending on the consistency and the coils that are being used.
it's really difficult. So you can't just go, I'll keep it low.
Nope.
Like, yeah, if you've got like,
Because Sherb didn't do it in there.
Yeah.
When I tried putting Sherb in, I found I had to raise the temp up. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, this has to be a lot higher than I anticipated just because of that. But that's the other thing we noticed is some concentrates burn off fantastic and there's nothing left. And other ones you're left with different stages of the concentrate left. And you're kind of like, oh, this is not the best quality. So, there's always different quality in that as well. So
yeah, it's like the star rating. I mean, if you want to get really deep into, your waxes and understanding, look into the star ratings. Those are actually really cool to kind of look at, where you're going, oh man, this is like pure premium. That's what I love about those little hot knives, right?
oh yeah,
That's so cool.
just drops right into it. Yeah, I think that would
that's
be
another thing
perfect.
we need to get. We
Hot
need to get
knives.
one of them.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be so cool, because then you cut it away and you drop it right in there, because that's the part that drives me nuts about dabbing tools.
Is I always get my dab tool sticky, and then I always wipe it on the side. I'm like, I just gotta get one of those.
Yeah,
So
I got to get one of those too.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, you tell us what you think. Mango OG. I think this is definitely a keeper. Be aware that you need to have water on hand or some type of delicious beverage. Not a snacky.
no, definitely cottonmouthy. Well, but we also did just have a fantastic meal over at SOP in Salt Lake City. So
Yeah.
if you love like Vietnamese food, Japanese food, Thai food, this place is delicious. It's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
Catch
All
you
right,
next
guys.
week.
Take care.